Okay, so it's 11 o'clock at night and I didn't know if you were still awake or not. So I figured I would video record this and then I will text you. And then if you're still awake, we can kind of go over it and I'll just send you the video and so on and so forth. So good thing that I went and got some more black fabric because as you can see here, I have been sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing. I am using Gutermann. Because even in the bobbin meter, they kind of set around the same token. You'll have to check your own thread regardless because things can kind of get jumbled and things like that in transit. So I always tell people, even when they leave, that you still have to kind of tweak the tension anyways. I try to get it as perfect as possible, but my eye and somebody else's eye are two totally different things. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I have in there another spring. So this is the spring that goes into the tension unit, and I'll send you a picture. The one that you have is kind of the height wise, it's kind of a little bit shorter, and the one that's in here is actually a little bit taller. The thing about it is set on a tight setting here, which to you probably means doesn't make a difference. To me, honestly, it's almost like depending on what length of a stitch you want is where you need to adjust this. So it's almost like this machine does not have a one size fits all in terms of stitch length regulation and tension. So with this spring, there was some improvement. Probably not enough that you would want to change it. You'll just have to let me know. I'm going to go ahead and put your original one back on there so that way I don't keep mine on there. The springs are about 10 bucks. So I'll leave that up to you. I will go ahead and show you just a few things so you can see for yourself. And then I can go over a few more other little things. So I've got the stitch length regulator set in between 12 and 15, which is generally the common stitch it seems like that most people use. At least that's what I do here. And go ahead and stitch out some. Okay, so front always comes out, looks really good, I think. Honestly, this actually looks really good on both sides. And I'll send an up close picture of it because you can kind of see through this fabric. It's not a high-end quality fabric, and as I've slowly learned, that can alter certain things. But once again, it's one of those things that I don't have money to, you know, spend on a bunch of things like that. So it's just a test sample. So what will end up happening is all you'll do now, since I've already set this stitch and it looks really good. Let me see if I can move my camera up here. You actually, once you get this set, you just spin this little guy inside here. And this is how you get it to set back to 4. So if you've ever watched, and I know you have, some of Carmen's videos, you know that. So then, now that that's set, I'll go ahead and stick the fabric back under there and stitch one more, just to kind of make sure that it didn't get joggled when I turned it, because that has happened before. And it looks good to me. So that's how you basically set that back to 4. So I'm not really sure what the guy meant that he could never get it to 4, because you can get it to 4. The thing about it is, like I said, the tension itself seems to just kind of, when you change the stitch length, it seems to change also. And so, again, when you're using your fabric and different threads and things like that, that will also change it. But for the most part, I mean, this thing I don't have any other ideas. I can very easily email the Featherweight shop and ask, but a lot of the times they are rather busy and it takes them a couple days to get back to me, and by that time, Lord knows what's coming up here, and I've got a lot of other machines that I need to get to. So that's basically what's going on with that, and you can probably do a lot more tweaking on your own. The 4 is just the generalized number. You know, a lot of people, you have to adjust the tension anyways when you're sewing. In terms of this, this ring here, yeah, that's actually chipped clear coat. When I've waxed the machine, I don't know if you saw the other videos, there's actually a lot of cracking of your clear coat on this machine. So when you see that, don't be alarmed. That's actually, there's like nicotine haze or something like that all over the machine. It took a very long time to clean this machine. Steven went back over it, and there's a lot of hours in just trying to get it to where it's at now. So you're gonna notice a difference for sure, but you're gonna see some little cracks in the clear coat now that the haze has been lifted. But this cleaned up really nicely. It's nice and shiny. Definitely wasn't like that before. You can skim back through the pictures, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully this video will kind of answer some questions. Back to the upper tension, I don't really know if it should be something that you should be concerned about. I mean, it's not like a huge serious issue. It just kind of is what it is. I mean, the machine stitches fine. It's got really gorgeous stitches, and you will just have to kind of mess with that when you're adjusting to different fabrics. But that's kind of a given just with these machines. So hope that helps, and if you have any other questions, just let me know.